In this video, I am going to provide some of you who do not like creepy things, you don't like going underneath your house, to make any types of repairs with a couple of other options that could actually speed up your repairs. However, it will require you to do one of two things to your house. And the first of those will be to install another crawl space access hole. And this might not be easy because you will need to go through the concrete, or you will need to remove the blocks or bricks. So option 1 is not going to be as easy as option 2. However, option 1 might be your only choice if you have some type of flooring, tile, wood floor, anything that you will not be removing. And sometimes you can just pull the carpet up, or even some types of floating wood flooring, so that you can use option number 2, and that would be to cut a hole in the floor sheathing. And I know for some of you, you're like, I don't want to damage my house. And in some cases, you could actually damage the house if you don't put everything back together correctly. However, most of the time, you're not going to have a problem with that. Now, the second problem, and the reason why I've ended up doing this before when I needed to make repairs, would be the fact that you just don't have enough room in the crawl space area to get underneath the house or to get underneath the house safely. For example, you might only have a few inches. And of course, cutting a hole in the flooring might be your only option if this is the case. So there are a few things that are going to provide you with a reason to cut a hole in a floor or to cut another hole, because you won't be able to get long enough lumber in through the access hole, or you might need to cut multiple holes or remove larger sections of the flooring, which brings us to another reason why you might choose to cut a hole in the flooring or another access hole into the foundation. And of course, something else you do need to consider when doing something like this is whether or not you're going to actually be able to get the lumber through a window or a door opening without something else becoming a problem or another obstacle that will prevent this from happening. And yes, this is something I have dealt with myself before, thinking that I was going to be able to get some lumber through one hole and ended up cutting another hole in the floor. Since I couldn't crawl underneath the house, I had to guess at where the hole was going to be cut and ended up cutting it in the wrong spot. So again, another problem I hope you don't run into, because the height of the soil, the position of all of the framing members, concrete footings, posts, and yes, even possibly a fireplace could become an obstacle that you need to concern yourself with. And for those of you who might not understand what I'm talking about, let's just go ahead and take a 2x6 12-footer and show you how even if we can get it through a door, we might not be able to get it through the floor if the soil isn't deep enough, or if we're going to run into a situation where the joist spacing isn't far enough apart. We might have blocking in there somewhere to create a problem. And hopefully by showing you this part of the video, at least I will save some of you from the frustration of cutting a hole in a floor to only find out later that it's not going to provide you with what you hoped it would. And of course, after you are done, you can simply cut some new boards and reinstall them with nails or screws. I know a lot of people are using screws today, but don't forget that engineers still require nails to attach most of the wood sheathing to wood framing members, even though I don't think it'll be the end of the world or that your house will fall down if you do something like that. And again, the key word here is I don't think, which means I don't know for a fact. So you might just want to use nails unless you're planning on using this as an access hole again. Then screws are going to be awesome, because you will be able to remove the screws and open up the access hole again. Now, another thing I would suggest if you're going to be using plywood or OSB would be to block the perimeter. Make sure that there are blocks going all the way around the opening that you have opened up. Otherwise, you could end up with a weak floor, especially in the spot where the plywood or the OSB is. And if I have done my job reasonably well, you now have, as a do-it-yourselfer, carpenter, carpenter's apprentice, or somebody who has never even thought about this, something else that could help you solve a problem and either help yourself or help your clients.